Okay, this is a short video on how to format a paper for my class. Um, and basically I use MLA style formatting. So what goes for my class will probably go for most classes anybody takes at a college level. So hopefully this will be useful to a lot of people and not just my students, but it's fine if it's just my students. Okay, here's my point. When you type directly into Word or Google, they don't, they have certain default settings that are not MLA style and that are also not my style, the style that I prefer my students to use in my class. You may look at this document and you may not see anything wrong with it, but I see a lot of things wrong with it that I want you to fix before you turn it into me, or before you turn in any document to me. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select everything, select all. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix the font. Because if you look up here, you'll see that the font is Calibri, 11 point. Now, I don't know why Word chooses that as the default font, because as far as I know, it's not a very popular font. And it's not a standard font, as far as I know. I could be wrong, I don't know. But I've always preferred Times New Roman, so that's what I would suggest that you'd use, and what I require that my students use. So we're going to change that to Times New Roman. And 11 point is also not really standard for a college paper. It should be 12 point. Okay, so now it is Times New Roman 12 point, and that's better than it was before, but it's still not correct. One of the things you might notice is that the line spacing is very uneven in this paper. In some places it's close together, some places it's far apart. There are extra spaces basically between the lines, and none of it is properly double spaced. So we're going to go back to the right click. This time we're going to choose paragraph. Now, again, I don't know why Microsoft Word defaults to multiple line spacing at 1.08. That seems like a very arbitrary kind of line spacing to me. In my class, in most college classes, you're going to want double spacing, simple double spacing. And I'm actually setting that as the default, not just for this document, but for all documents on my computer. Now, this is sort of improved, but not really. As you can see, the spacing is still kind of wonky. What you're seeing there, for example, doesn't look like double spaced in the heading, and that's because Word also inserts extra spaces between paragraphs, and it's basically treating each line of the heading as a paragraph, so that you see that the line spacing in the paragraph seems normal, but between paragraphs there's like this extra spacing. So we don't want that either. So again, we're going to select all. We're going to right click and go to paragraph. And now we're going to look at the spacing on the left side, and you'll see that for some reason they insert 8-point spacing between paragraphs. We do not want that. We want 0-point spacing. I'm also going to set that as the default, but you don't have to. But you do need to have this set at 0 point. Okay, now it's improved. It's still not right though, because one thing that's going on here is that the paragraphs are not indented. Paragraphs need to be indented. Now, one way to indent them is just to, put your cursor there and hit tab space and it's indented. But there is a better way to do that. So again, we are going to select all. We're going to right click. We're going to go to the paragraphs again. This time we're going to go up here to where it says special indentation, first line. And when you choose first line, it will automatically default to 0.5. And for once, the default is correct. You can hit OK. I'm going to set it as a permanent default. And there we go. Now the paper is looking more like a college paper. There are still a couple problems. Now, one problem is this title of the paper should be center, so I'm going to do that. The other problem is my header got a little bit messed up when I created the indent. You don't want your header indented, you want it flush left. But that's real easy. Just put your cursor in front of the first letter of the line and hit backspace. Go down, hit backspace, 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 and there you go. Now you have a complete heading, flush left. Actually, what you're seeing here is what I ask for in my class is I actually add something to MLA, which is the name of the assignment and the word count in a writer's note. For those of you who are not my students, you probably are not going to want to do that, so you could just delete that. But for my purposes right now, I'm going to put it back there and just leave it. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put page numbers in. To do that, what I just did is I clicked up at the top of the document. That takes me into the header, and I'm going to go over to Insert. I'm going to go to Page Number. I'm going to go to top of the page. I'm going to go to, sorry, not top of the page. I'm going to go to Current Position, and I'm going to use just a plain number. Don't do any of these fancy 1/page things. Just a plain, simple number. Number 1. Okay, but actually, I didn't want it there. So hold on. I'm going to undo that. I want it right justified. That means all the way on the right side. So again, we're going to go back to Insert. We're going to go to Page Number. We're going to go to Current Position, plain number 1, and there it is. One last thing here, almost, well, not quite last. Your last name should go right before the page number, and just one space between your name and the page number, no more than that. And last thing, the last thing is you might notice that the font up here is back to being Calibri because it defaults in the header to Calibri 11 point. We want it to match the rest of our document. So we're going to go back to Times Roman 12 point. And now you've got a handsome looking document that fits MLA style and also it fits the requirements of my particular class. So I hope you found this useful. I hope it's clear, and I hope you get your formatting right. Thank you.